800 military bases surrounding the world like the United States does. 1,000 if you put in the NATO countries, United Kingdom, France. And I think there's a couple you've got helping Syria, wherever else. China's got a couple. The Americans have this enormous amount. And can I just say, the tension is worldwide. So they have a plan. They have a battle plan, which is why it's been so important. The Russian government, I was saying it to my friends, we should be thanking the Russian government for saying to NATO, no, you're not going to do that to us. You're not going to do it to our friends. And we're not going to put up with it. And we're going to protect the people in the Ukraine. You see, there's very little attention here to the fact of that the war has been going on since 2014 and the violence that has been committed against Russian-speaking Ukrainians, other Ukrainians who are dissidents. Zelensky is made into a hero, and very few people know that he puts all his money offshore, doesn't pay taxes in his own country, and promotes fascists. So it's a long answer, I know, but perhaps your viewers will know there are a lot of thinking people around the world. It's not all hatred or misunderstanding of Russia, of China. See, China's copying it too. The same nonsense is talked about the China being an aggressive country and taking over the world are getting propaganda. It's very little analysis, in fact, no analysis of the situation and what has led to the special operation in the Ukraine, the attacks on the republics of the Donbass, the fact that Zelensky campaigned in 2017 for peace with Russia, for respect for all of the people, including Russian speakers in Ukraine and other minorities, and then betrayed that trust, and then launched these vicious attacks, artillery attacks, sniper attacks, drone attacks on the eastern part of the Ukraine. That's been left out of the history in New Zealand. So yes, it's a dangerous situation for the world because there is a push for war, not just against Russia. And unfortunately, our soldiers, our intelligence have been committed to working to provide intelligence to increase the misery of the people of the Ukraine by working with the NATO forces. And we've given money to the British government to buy weapons to increase the damage in the Ukraine. And inside the governing parties, I talk with the members of parliament, I talk with cabinet ministers. Any Russian government standing up for its people, looking out the window, knowing its history. I mean, you don't have to start with Napoleon, 1917, have a revolution, 14 countries tried to smash Russia. They survived the Second World War. And then they look out the window and see NATO pushing right up to the border. Have a look at what happened to Yugoslavia. They know what the plan is, and it's written down. They only have to read Brzezinski, Kennan. Go back to your question about who benefits. George Kennan in 1948, I think he was in the Moscow, he was a US diplomat in Moscow, wrote the playbook, which said the United States has 6% of the world's population, something like 60% of resources. We want to keep it that way. So by weakening Russia, and Brzezinski has said, let's split Russia up. I mean, how dare they talk about what they're going to do with another country? Split Russia up into European Russia, Siberian Russia, I think, and Far East Russia, 3 components to control the resources. And also the military-industrial complex. You've got to have an enemy to sell more weapons, to sell more airplanes, to sell more rockets for aggression, not for defense, but for aggression. And so they benefit from having an official enemy, but also Russia is a problem for them because other countries can turn to Russia, as they do with China,